welcome. I'm Vas. In this short video, I'm going to share with you about NLP's own personality profiling tool. You have TAIS, you have Myers-Briggs, you have Enneagram, you have DISC, you have, I don't know, what more out there. So many of them which I've been exposed to. And NLP, Richard Bandler and John Grinder, were modeling people, and they realized that we are learning using our senses, and when we learn, we all have our own preference of learning. Some of us learn better by hearing, some of us learn better by seeing, and some of us learn better by feeling, and so forth. So when they realize this, it also is true that we also make decisions using our senses. We don't just learn. So we need to learn something before we make decisions, right? And therefore, we also have our preference in using our senses to make decisions. So they came up with a very simple tool called representational systems preference test. Representational systems, how we represent the world using our senses. So they came up with this tool. And so in this tool, which is a psychometric tool, where we answer some questions, not 144 questions, there's just 5 questions, sounds very simple. And people are thinking that you need 200 questions to be sure of a personality of a person. No, you don't need to. Because when it comes to our senses, there's something you'll realize soon. Okay? So anyway, so people make decisions based on the way we see, the way we hear, the way we feel. These are the 3 main senses. And then you have smell and taste, which are minor senses. Okay, so we don't make many decisions based on this unless you are a culinary expert or you make perfumes. Then you will be going into the smell and taste part to make decisions. But the 3 dominant senses are see, hear, and feel. But there's another, which is not a sense, but it's a decision-making component inside us, and that is our AD, our auditory digital, or in simple language, we call it self-talk. Self-talk. We talk to ourselves a lot before we make our decisions, after we have seen, hear the stuff, and we feel it. Okay, so there are 4 components: see, hear, feel, and self-talk, or AD. So these are the 4 components that we use in order to make decisions. And in this personality profiling tool, we validate which is your preferred sense. If you look at my fingers, there are 5 fingers here. There are some longer than the others. So when we do a test, you realize that your dominant sense, now this is my middle finger here, my dominant sense, when I started out NLP, was auditory. I learned by hearing. And so some people learn by seeing. So this middle finger, dominant sense or lead sense, we call it, may be visual, and so forth. So when we design this tool and we do a test, immediately we know a person's preference. So what? By understanding this, you will know the strategy that they use to make decisions with their senses. And when you understand that, and you can learn how to calibrate someone from a distance, whether they are VAK or AD, and what their preferred sense is, when you can identify that, you can utilize that to pace them, to make them feel that you are just like them. Let's say you are a dominant A, and the person coming is a dominant K, kinesthetic. What you can do is, if you understand this, you can shift your body and your energy to a kinesthetics physiology from which your whole psychology will change, and then when you begin to communicate with a K, they will feel that you are just like them. And when that goal is achieved, you get things done much faster between the two of you. You sell much faster, you convince much faster, you even approve your paper, your concept paper on a project much faster if you were working with your boss. You see, these are the values of the NLP version of personality profiling. Now, what else? You see, in normal personality profiling, they typify you. They say you're a type 1, 7, or what have you. They give you a name, and then they say, oh, that's who you are, and therefore, you cannot do this job. You should be doing that kind of job, which is how HR managers use profiling tools. But that's not what NLP does. In NLP, you understand, you go into a training to become who you truly are. Not who you were, but who you truly are, which would be a flexible person who can be anybody he wants to be in rapport with anybody out there in the world by becoming like them. For them to feel that you are just like them. And that takes some understanding, that takes some training, and that takes some allowance to be flexible. And you would realize that the true you is one who can be totally flexible when dealing with people. Because flexibility is consistency. That's right. That may be confusing, but I want you to explore this. Flexibility is consistency. And consistency is so important in life because then with it you can succeed. Without consistency, you are non-existent. Remember that statement a couple of videos ago? That's right. And so, our brand of personality profiling, which is called representational preference test, allows you to know who you are first, and then releases all of your inner abilities to become anybody you want to be. And isn't that what you want? So that you can succeed with every human being on this planet. That's right. If that's your quest, then you want to learn this. I'll see you again. Thank you.